I really don't know the context of this video, but I was sent it a couple times. Apparently a fighting game player, Rednew, is, I think, reviewing whether EO's a real fighting game player or not. I have no idea what this is, but I'm curious as shit.
Community, the Neo Genshin community, does not have a me. What I mean by that, you don't have someone who's actually, it's easy for fighting game players to understand this. It's very difficult for gacha game players to understand and accept this. This is called kara canceling. Now I can take kara canceling to the next stage. Now I can implement negative edging.
I can negative edge all over you.
If you think this is
I'm sorry, bro. It'll never not be funny to me, bro.
super sweaty, welcome to fighting games, buddy.
I am also a huge fighting game fan. Honestly, he's incredibly off base.
Because I know it seems like I'm bashing Wuthering. I am, because I don't want this to be taken like as I hate Wuthering. I don't. I like Wuthering. I love the combat in the game. It's fucking stupid. It's the worst enemy design I've ever experienced in any game whatsoever. I've never experienced something as dumb as that.
When you say Wuthering's combat is bad because you spent a week trying to find practical applications for this cool tech, the juggling you discovered, and found out that the game has safeguards to prevent the exploitation of that tech, then I feel like you've lost the plot.
If I can't cheese every fight, the game's bad. Insane.
Are Wuthering Waves or Zenless Zone Zero fighting games? A video popped up on my feed yesterday, and the title—
Do you know what a fighting game fucking is? One character versus one character in a side-by-side screen, right? Like, those are the real ones. Like, the Marvel versus Capcom. Technically, it's a 3v3. Street Fighter, Tekken. Like, I guess you could argue Sparking Zero, but to me, what a fighting game is— I mean, I feel like I'm losing my mind here. I feel like it's very clear that Zenless Zone Zero and Wuthering Waves are just RPGs. Like, am I crazy? Like, they're combat RPGs, but they're not fighting games.
Title read, "This is genuinely ridiculous."
And they're also usually fucking PvP.
And it featured two of some of my favorite gacha creators, Mr. Pokey and EO.
What about me?
I think Tectone also just dropped a video recently with almost the exact same thumbnail and the same title. I haven't watched that one yet, but
Oh, it's the exact same thing. I took his thumbnail, I put my face over it, and then everybody else did the exact same thing.
Watched this one. I watched this one with Mr. Pokey. I gave it a watch, and the title did not lie. EO is a gacha game content creator, most known for his coverage on Honkai Star Rail, Wuthering Waves, and now Zenless Zone Zero. Recently, he's been catching a lot of flack for this video, which unfortunately
This was the craziest video I've seen in so long. This shit was so funny, but I wish more creators would make more videos like this, because I know the way that EO's talking is the way that the majority of content creators feel, which is they alone are the honored one.
Cannot review on its own because he paywalled it and restricted it to members only. Now, I don't blame him. Apparently, he was being bombarded by a lot of hate comments, and unfortunately, a lot of—
Nah, it really wasn't that much. It depends. Like, okay, if you feel bad for EO for what he went through in that one video, then good God. If you want to see what I go through on a daily basis, you'd cry. You'd legit have to cry, and you'd probably send me at least $150 through my PayPal. It really wasn't that big of a deal. Like, I'll be real, man. Like, I trend on Twitter globally getting shit on. What that was a microscopic speck into what I get on a daily basis. But once again, everybody handles hate at their own degree. But yeah, it really wasn't that big of a deal, to be honest.
A lot of that hate came with a side of racism.
Oh my God. Jesus, that's a new KFC special. Holy crap. All right.
Which, of course, that absolutely sucks. But I'm sure what you're wondering is, why is he receiving all of this hate? All I have is Mr. Pokey's reaction to it, which is an hour and 30 minutes. Now, I'm not going to sit here and react to what is equivalent to a full-length movie, but we're going to use clips, and I'll do my best to summarize his points.
Sure.
In EO's video, he talks about—
I will say, much to EO and Mai's credit, I do think there are people who hate EO because he's black. Just because I know there's also people who hate me because they're white. However, I don't think this is one of those situations where you can just blame they don't like me because I'm black, they don't like me because I'm white. I mean, the video was just bad. That's pretty much it, you know what I'm saying? And also, here's the other thing. It's also not illegal to make bad videos, guys. It's also not illegal to have an ego. It's not. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Hey, man, if you want to be a jackass, if you want to be an egotistical prick, you can do whatever the fuck you want. It doesn't matter, but just own it. You know what I'm saying? Don't just own it. And don't act like, oh, I'm being miserable. Just own that you have an ego. Just own that you're a jackass. You know, it's very easy. It is what it is. So exactly. Yeah, I see a lot of myself in EO in bed. I see a lot of myself in EO in that video, 100%. I think it's hilarious.
An unnecessary war between the Wuthering Waves.
It's not illegal for us to hate either. Oh, absolutely not. No, I fully encourage anybody who thinks a content creator is a dumb fuck to call him a dumb fuck. Do whatever the fuck you want, man. Get him. Go get him.
And the Zenless Zone Zero communities. Wuthering Waves is seen as a more hardcore, Soulsborne game baptized by Mr. Miyazaki himself, and Zenless Zone Zero is seen as an old Fisher-Price hand-me-down in terms of difficulty. And so what that means is you have a lot of Wuthering Waves commenters dogging on Zenless Zone Zero as a game, practically since day one. And I've seen this myself. A lot of content creators especially were straight hating on the game since its launch and have only recently started to change their perception of it. That's what.
Who was the guy who was saying the game really ain't that bad? Who was that again? Who was the guy who said the game's actually like pretty decent? Oh, I remember that. And what were they calling me? A Hoyo shill, huh? Wow, look at that. Look at that. They all come around, man. They all come around. You're welcome. Hey, it is what it is.
What this video is supposed to be talking about. But to anyone actually paying attention to what EO was saying, it's clear that he is just using this video as a means to vent out his frustrations and grievances against both the Wuthering Waves community as well as his own.
I agree.
At the same time, he props himself up as this sort of peak content creator that has passion for his craft, and that the Wuthering Waves community's problem is that they don't have him.
Oh, man, it's crazy, dude. It was fucking crazy. Dude, I'm going to be quoting that for years. It's so good. Oh, man. Almost shiroi.
Or someone like him.
I know the reason the Wuthering Waves community is the way it is. This is going to sound really egotistical. And I don't mean this as egotistical as
yo, this is about to be absolute cinema.
This is gonna sound, but I want to make this message very clear, okay? Wuthering Waves community, the Neo Genshin community, does not have a me.
Holy shit, dude. Holy shit. Holy shit, bro. Oh my god. You know what this really reminds me of? Because I met EO a long time ago, and he's a really, I really like EO. I want to make that very clear. I do really like EO. But something about him lately has changed. Like, I don't know. Like, it sounds like he has like there's somebody in his ear who's like gassing him up to do like dumb shit, to where it's like, if it's not his way, it's the highway. And if anybody says anything else, they're like attacking him. Like, I don't know. Like, it seems like EO, and I don't know anything about his personal life, but I know a lot of people who have like overly supportive partners in like a very toxic way get like this a lot, where like their partner feeds them lies. And it's like, oh no, you're doing everything right. If anybody's against you, it's because they're bad. And I'm the only one who understands you. Because I had an experience that back in high school. But maybe it's like a friend or like a family member. But I feel like somebody's gassing up EO to say some crazy ass shit. I have no idea, but it definitely feels like someone's gassing him up just to have this fucking weird ass takes.
What I mean by that,
That's
you don't have someone
crazy!
who's actually.
And so people's response to this is obviously angry. They're furious. And every little bad thing they thought about EO starts to boil
Because I don't remember him being like this at all.
over and come to light. EO is known by his circle of content creators and their fan bases as Bad Take EO, which honestly is a little mean. But after looking into
Everybody gets told they have bad takes. Everybody gets told they have bad takes. Everybody. Like, come on. This is such baby insults. Holy shit.
to it, I think one thing that is very clear is that EO has a huge ego and has been holding this over others for a while now. In his video, EO talks about another video he made. Broken new tech is what is shown in the thumbnail.
Dude, what was really funny is I saw EO on Twitter the other day, and like somebody discovered this new tech, and then EO made a reply saying, I already found this technique. I kept it within the circle of trust, but nice find, I guess. And I'm like, bro, what is going on? What is going on?
And in that video, he showcases a lot of cool tech for Wuthering Waves.
That is cool, though.
You saw how many times I canceled 4 different launchers.
That was cool.
Guys, this is very important. I know this is like, some of y'all are gonna be like, bro, this doesn't matter. I can just mash square. John wants to use his ultimate anyway. There's a very key thing that I want y'all to understand, that it's easy for fighting game players to understand this. It's very difficult for gacha game players to understand and accept this. I just
Oh my god, come on, bro. He's bongo canceling, man. Like, come on. There's no way bro doesn't know how he sounds. Holy fuck. Holy fuck.
I told you guys, it's basically square, hold square, and then jump. You hear the clunk? You hear the clunk? As soon as I hear the clunk, boom. Now that you know this, this is called Kara canceling. Now I can take Kara canceling to the next stage. Now I can implement negative edging. Negative edging basically is where you hold an input, you do something else, and then you basically release the punch button, right, that you were holding onto the whole time, so that you can get the input immediately. Frame 1, you're gonna get whatever input you were looking for. Look. Gian is still, he performs the full thrust into launch.
Now, there are 2 gigantic problems in that video.
Okay, so one, it's a gacha game, right? And these games, they're just not that deep. Oh god, it's fine. We can bingus bongus, I guess.
One, the tech he shows is incredibly limited in its actual utility.
Yep.
Wuthering Waves is a game similar to Zenless Zone Zero. The objective of many endgame stages either involves destroying a boss or destroying an elite with a few mobs. The tech he displays involves juggling, which can only be done against the low-level mobs, not elites or the bosses. And on top of this, Wuthering Waves apparently has a combo limit mechanic, which prevents the mobs from being juggled after a certain amount of time. And the other huge problem is that he is forcing a lot of confusing fighting game jargon onto the gacha game community. In this video, the tech that he showcases are labeled negative edging and Kara cancels. Now, the first term, negative edging, is extremely funny considering how many edging jokes there are nowadays. But I've personally never heard of negative edging being used like that, because negative edge isn't really an active verb as much as it is just a noun, right? A game can allow for negative edge inputs, otherwise known as just button release inputs, and certain fighting game techniques are easier to pull off with negative edge. But it's not like I can negative edge all over you or anything like that. But that's besides the point. The reason why I'm doing this video in the first place is because I feel like if EO decided to watch this, let's say, that I might be one of the only people who can call him out on the ridiculousness of this, of his conduct recently, and for him to take that criticism to heart. Not only am I a content creator, I am also a huge fighting game fan. I've been playing fighting games for at least 15 years since the launch of vanilla Street Fighter 4.
Wait, does that mean that the Wuthering Waves community now has a me? Is this guy the me that the Wuthering Waves community needs? Wuthering Waves is saved! Finally!
Now, maybe EO can kick my ass in something like Street Fighter 6. I honestly don't know. I don't play actively. How I play fighting games is that I usually have like 2 or 3 days where I just binge hardcore and then I stop for a few months and then come back to it whenever I feel the itch again, right? I'm only platinum rank in Street Fighter 6 with Aki. I've played a ton of other fighting games though in my 15 years, obviously. Sure. Tekken, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Blaze Blue, Skullgirls, Dragon Ball FighterZ, you name it, right? Probably more than I can remember. The point is,
I have a hot take. I am pretty confident I've played more fighting games than both of them. Like, I've played so fucking many, it's insane. And also, I've watched so much Salty Bet, it's insane. But here's the one thing I can admit. I've never, ever, ever, ever tried to get good. Ever. I just don't care. Like, I really don't care. I pick up the game, I get as far as I can off my natural ability, and then I drop it. I feel like trying to get really good at a fucking video game, I don't know, man. It's never really been my thing, to where I, like, have to look up new strategies to, like, try to clap them. I just never really gave a fuck, you know? You almost got good at Lethal League. Lethal League was fucking awesome.
I'm very familiar with the jargon he's trying to push onto the gacha game community, and honestly, he's incredibly off base. Not only is it silly to try and force these terms onto this community, but it's not even being used properly.
True.
If we're going to be pedantic and demand things being called the proper names, then what he's calling...
Wait, what the fuck is this? A lot of my fellow gamers won't understand this until I show them the optimal implication by combining this Google Sheets in-game practicality. You need to listen to me. What is going on? What the fuck is going on with this tweet? Not only do we have Switch Tech in-game and more fighting game execution mechanics, but we have negative edge. We have fucking negative edging. We have fucking negative edging in Wuthering Waves. TLDR, you can cheat inputs in the game while doing completely separate things. This isn't easy, and yes, takes above average level execution, especially in actual combos. Yeah, but I can just button mash and kill everything.
Being called the proper names, then what he's calling Kara canceling is not actually Kara canceling. Kara canceling is originally a Japanese term because fighting game players are weebs, and a lot of tech came from Japanese players who would know life at the arcades and find these techniques. A lot of the prominent fighting games like Street Fighter is made by a Japanese company, so obviously a lot of Japanese players are really into it. Kara comes from the Japanese word kara, which means empty. If you or EO read the definition on the fighting game glossary or whatever, you might stop at the first clause, which reads, the ability to very quickly cancel a move into another move, and ignore practically everything else. But Kara canceling is not that. That's just describing a cancel. And how he's doing it is by inputting a jump command with his launcher when Gion launches the enemy with his spear. When that launcher makes contact with the enemy, he puts a jump command to cancel the recovery of it. But a Kara cancel is a very specific type of cancel. Kara canceling refers to canceling a move into another move before the first move completes its startup frames. A fighting game move has 3 phases. It is the startup frames, so like your character winding up for the punch, right? The active frames where your character's actually throwing the punch, where it's active, where the opponent will be receiving the hit. And then the recovery frames when you are sort of following through the motion, but you're not actually dealing damage, right? The recovery frames, you recovering from throwing the punch. In most fighting games, a normal cancel involves canceling a normal move into a special attack as soon as the normal move hits. Kara canceling strictly means that the first move cannot hit. It does not hit. Now you might be wondering, why would anyone do that? Isn't that just less damage? Wouldn't you want the normal hit to land in order to make a small little combo? And the answer is no. I'm very familiar with car canceling because it's how you perform one of the most popular techniques in Street Fighter 4, Ken's Kara throw. Ken has a special normal move, forward medium kick, where Ken takes a large step forward, then leads with a toe kick. This move pushes him forward by a lot. And the idea is that before the toe kick actually comes out, you would cancel it with a throw input.
That's insane.
This lets you essentially extend the range of the throw by a huge margin.
That's insane.
And having this technique was a huge advantage that Ken had over other characters. The importance here is, though, that this move must have started up. That's how Ken is pushed forward so much, and that it must be canceled before the kick actually comes out. Why? It's because the toe kick itself isn't cancelable, and even if it was cancelable, you wouldn't be able to land a throw since throws cannot combo from hits. So what EO is showing is just a normal cancel.
Wait, so he's even using the words wrong? Oh my god. Dude, minus 300 aura. That is insane, bro. Bro's aura is fucking going through the Earth's tectonic plates. Bro, what the fuck? No way! Dude, the moment people start talking in goober speak, I'm like, oh, okay. Wait, bro, fact checked them? I cannot believe he's just using fake terms incorrectly for fun. Oh, dude. That is insane. Bro just goober canceled his career. Wait until you find use negative edge wrong? No, stop. Oh, dude, what the fuck? Wait, surely he's using negative edge right, surely.
He's canceling Gion's launcher with a jump input that doesn't come out if timed properly, allowing him to use other moves. He's not canceling the startup of the first move. The first move landed. The launcher landed, and he's not canceling the startup of the following move either. He's canceling the remaining active and recovery frames of the launcher so that he could do another move. And with regards to negative edge, yeah, that's the correct use, I think. I don't have Gion, so I can't test it out myself, but I'm assuming he's releasing his attack button here, which leads Gion to do an aerial follow-up even when he's not the active character, which is cool, right? That is 50% really cool.
Right,
it's honestly cool stuff. So I'm not trying to discredit EO. Actually, I think he and his buddies are coming up with cool shit, and EO makes good content on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
But I have to say, as a fellow fighting game fan, I think EO would do himself a ton of favors if he stopped seeing the gacha community, his community, the Wuthering Waves community, whatever, as the unwashed masses, and that fighting games are their salvation.
These filthy fucking gacha players, they don't fucking get one like me, a fighting game player, man. They never last a fucking day in Street Fighter 3, man. They don't fucking get it. They don't fucking get it, man. They got all their credit cards and weeaboos and waifus, man. These people are fucking cringe. Yeah, I'll see you guys at Soul Calibur, man.
Salvation. I get that EO is trying to show his love for fighting games and integrate that into his brand, but
then why not just play fighting games? You know what I'm saying? You know, like, I don't understand. I don't really understand the idea. I'm going to play gacha games, say that people who play gacha games are retards, and I'm only going to say people who are high-level fighting game players who also play gacha game players are the good players. Like, I just don't get it, bro. Like, that's just too niche, man. Bro's Kara canceling his IQ right now. You either have to be entertaining or good at them to be a fighting game streamer. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, bro, dude. Using Kara canceling wrong is still fucking insane to me.
People can sense the ego and know that you're talking down on them when you say shit like this.
That it's easy for fighting game players to understand this. It's very difficult for gacha game players to understand and accept this. And if you guys can't do this immediately, it's okay. Welcome to fighting games, buddy. Y'all think y'all are doing something now? That's baby. That is like the easy, and I know it's obviously not easy for you guys because some of y'all are saying like it's harder. I'm not calling anybody like bad or baby or whatever.
Fighting game tech isn't exclusive.
I wonder what EO thinks he's saying by that.
To fighting games. Cancels, Kara canceling, negative edge, footsies, neutral, you name it. All of these things exist in other games and other genres. The FGC loves to put a label on all these techniques because the skill ceiling for any fighting game is something that is always increasing. Fighting games are inherently competitive, so everyone is trying to have a leg up over the other as well as teach each other how to get better. It's very research intensive. You want to learn these new things. It's a matter of convenience to put these labels on everything. And the difference is that in the world of gacha games, these techniques are almost never going to be necessary after a certain point. Like Mr. Pokey's.
No. I'm going to tell you some real shit. They're not going to be useful at all, right? You can do them, but the amount of skill required to learn these little goober canceling techniques, I mean, I'll be real. I could probably learn how to negative edge and not Kara cancel a fucking ability in about 5 seconds. But you know what I'd rather do? Left click, 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 alt. Dodge, 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 left click, left. Oh, I win. If I don't win, transaction approved. Left click. Oh my God, I beat it.
Says, gacha games are time-gated RPGs, and if someone can't clear the content now, they will after they spend the time or money to farm for more levels and equipment.
True.
The difficulty is very arbitrary and artificial because the answer is so inherently obvious. And I'm not trying to say like, then don't show cool shit. No, what I'm saying is when you say Wuthering's combat is bad because you spent a week trying to find practical applications for this cool tech, the juggling you discovered, and found out that the game has safeguards to prevent the exploitation of that tech, then I feel like you've lost the plot. Gacha games aren't fighting games. And when you've built up your community to consider difficulty and execution complexity to be inherent values and virtues for a game, then don't be surprised when that same community starts to resent you for calling them out on their supposed toxicity.
I've said this once, and I'll say this 1,000 times. Other people have also said this for me. A lot of people aren't built for the content and the way that I present myself. I think we can agree that a lot of content creators are trying to emulate bits and pieces of my content and my persona these days. I'm pretty sure we'd all agree. But if there's one thing that's very difficult to emulate, and that's my resolve. Here's a little heads up for a lot of people who want to get into controversial content. You can't make controversial content and not expect there to be controversy. You can't. You cannot do that. So when you call people dumb, they're gonna call you dumb back. When you cause controversy, they're going to give you controversy back, right? And just be ready for it. Just be ready. But I am definitely a content creator who monetizes their mental health every single fucking day. And I'll be real, I love it. I watch my own videos. I think it's funny as fuck. But here's the thing. Have an ego. Be a narcissist. Be a jackass. But just understand that people are going to say that you have an ego, that you're a jackass, and that you're a narcissist. And they're okay. It is what it is. And here's the thing. I know I'm a great guy, but I know my ego is fucking enormous. Okay? I know my ego is fucking enormous because I know I'm a good-ass dude. Now, that's not because I'm a narcissist. Being a narcissist is a mental illness, right? I'm just a good-ass fucking dude. And I look at myself in the mirror and I smile because I know I am a good motherfucker. And we all know it. We all know it. We should all be responsible for the consequences of the things we do. True.
You're the one who emphasizes the value of these sweaty mechanics, and when you bash on Wuthering Waves in favor of Zenless Zone Zero, a game that is for all intents and purposes strictly easier than Wuthering Waves in terms of surviving an encounter, then yeah, the gacha community is going to call you out on that. Now don't get me wrong, I relate a lot to what EO says in that video. Not necessarily the ego stuff where he says he's so passionate about content creation and that the problem with the Wuthering Waves community is that they don't have a him. I honestly don't know what he was cooking there. But his gripes with Wuthering Waves are very similar to mine. I agree that Wuthering Waves doesn't have a good overworld experience, but that's mostly because
You're fucking wrong. Overworld in Wuthering Waves is actually my favorite. I love it. I think it's so fucking good. I feel like the exploration is great. And for any lack of enjoyable experience in the overworld, you can just get through it in like 3 seconds because you move so fucking fast. There's so many movement options. I think it's great, personally. And there's no stamina outside of combat. I think it's great.
Because I can confidently say that I hate open world gacha games.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay, so it's not bad. It's just you just don't like the genre. That's all good. It is what it is.
I think the whole point of an open world is to be immersive, and that it's hard for me to immerse myself in a world that is inherently limiting by the time gate. There's only so many times I can try to farm an echo before I get bored of it, and no amount of puzzles can fix that. Open world games should emphasize freedom through a sandbox focused design like Metal Gear Solid 5 or Death Stranding.
Your main tools to assist
Yo, what up, Z? I sent you a text, check it.
Or a self-insert immersive design like with Elden Ring or Skyrim. Genshin Impact and Wuthering Waves can't hold a candle to these games because they belong to, call it a genre or business model, whatever the f***. It doesn't matter. It's a classification that is inherently going to place a lot of limitations on your freedom.
True.
You could say it's ridiculous for me to compare Elden Ring to Genshin Impact, but no, I agree with EU on this point. My time is valuable, and I don't like to spend my time playing bad games that I don't like.
Fair. Yeah, once again, bad is obviously subjective. But yeah, I mean, if you don't like the game, don't play it. It's that easy.
I also think that in Wuthering Waves, the combat isn't all that. Like I said in my level 40 review of Zenless Zone Zero, I actually bash on Wuthering Waves quite a bit in...
I want to make a take. I agree. I can agree with who says Wuthering Waves combat isn't all that, but I would say out of all current gacha games, it does have the best combat. That is what I would say.
In that video. And what I say there essentially is that I don't think
my favorite combat in any game is most likely Metal Gear Rising. That shit was fun as fuck. Yeah, Metal Gear Rising was good as fuck.
Soulsborne combat is good without
Sekiro was also
Soulsborne
dope.
agency. And what I mean is that in games like Elden Ring and Bloodborne, you have so
I need to
much
play DMC5
agency
though.
over a million factors that affect difficulty, from your soul level to your build to...
The thing that holds back, and once again, I do think Wuthering Waves is the best open world gacha exploration process, but I do agree, it doesn't hold a candle to Elden Ring because in Wuthering Waves and Genshin Impact, the only thing that you can find are chests and little bits of trinkets that can get you more pulls. Whereas in Elden Ring, I can go explore for 3 hours and maybe find a new weapon, right? Like a new sword, which unlocks new gameplay, a new piece of armor, which changes my aesthetics and perhaps messes with my poise and lets me change my build, or like a rare trinket or something like that, right? So it is obviously held back by the genre, and I do think the other games where you can explore obviously reap much more benefit for what you put into it.
Summons to skadoosh seeds, everything, right? Not only that, you can always turn around from the boss door, farm, then come back. The suffering and frustration is yours to own and mold, but with games like Wuthering Waves, especially as a free-to-play player, you are stuck with what you've got and you need to swallow your pride until you get the gacha energy needed to farm all your mats.
Gacha energy.
It's not a roguelike game. You can't just reset your run because you'd be resetting all the time you put into the account.
I do want to play more Wuthering Waves.
It's hard to place any value in your play and skill and say, oh, I just need to get better, when you know that the designed answer is to simply wait and farm more mats or spend money. And again, I'm okay with a gacha game being a gacha game, but I think it pairs up badly with Soulsborne-like combat on a personal level. The difference between me and EO is that I have no problem saying that I don't like Wuthering Waves.
I think the other big difference between this guy and EO is this guy really knows how to formally give his opinion. Like, I totally understand where bro's coming from.
have no idea why EO in that video refuses to say he dislikes the game but gives a million reasons why he doesn't like the game. Even the combat, which he says he likes, he immediately will discredit and call bullshit because the game has safeguards against infinite juggling and it has annoying mobs that use shield mechanics. I love Zenless Zone Zero's combat because it's designed in a fundamentally different way. Zenless Zone Zero doesn't try to be a Soulsborne game. Instead of placing so much emphasis on focus on surviving the encounter, it leaves a blank canvas for you to focus on min-maxing and optimizing your own gameplay instead of having to react to tricky attacks and timed parries. And again,
personally, I prefer difficulty of the bosses versus difficulty of the playstyle, right? Because for me, once again, Zenless Zone Zero just feels like spam left click until you hear a shing, then press spacebar, and then continue spamming left click. But yeah, it makes it feel a lot more unique because I really don't like when the mobs just feel like target dummies. It feels a little bit goofy, but obviously, yeah.
You can say skill issue, that just means it's easier, whatever. I don't care. I like the game more because it's more fun for me, and nobody can take that away from me. But yeah, that's what I think about this whole drama. I thought this was relevant because EO brought...
You know what's funny, though? There are a lot of people who say, oh, that's my opinion. You can't disprove my opinion. But I love talking about someone's favorite anime and tell them why they're an idiot because that's what they like. By pointing out all of like the awful plot holes. Like, for example, getting people to realize that chapter 4 or the final chapter of Attack on Titan is so dog shit because the writers don't understand their characters' intentions is really fun to talk about. Like, dude, like getting people to realize that Attack on Titan just did Code Geass's ending, but way worse is so funny to me, dude. Like it's like he forgot who Eren was. It's like he forgot like what the intentions of the crew were. Like, bro, it's so funny. Like, I don't know, dude. You're just wrong, Decky, about AOT. That's fine. I still like AOT. I thought it was good, but I thought the ending was so fucking trash.
Brought up plenty of good points on why he didn't like Wuthering, like I did in my previous video, which all of y'all blew up, by the way. Thank you so much for that. And I also think my experience as a fighting game player is something I can use to weigh in on the situation a bit more, since it seems like EO seems to disregard a lot of opinions if they don't come from other fighting game players, which I think is, I don't know, that's a little weird. Thank you all for watching. Like, sub, share, and comment, and I'll see you all on the next one. Peace.
This is a really good video, and I hope nobody thinks that Rednew is attacking EO. I think this was a very fair critique, and I think he used proper sources and reasonings and rationale to explain what it is that he was saying. That dude earned a subscribe from me. Really good fucking video. I highly recommend everybody go check that dude out. That was a fantastic discussion. And Rednew, if you ever want to talk, I would love to have you on the Gotcha Cast any fucking time, man. You made a fan out of me 100%. Great fucking video, my man. Great fucking video.